With Baker Mayfield under center, the Bucs won their third straight division title in 2023 and went to the divisional round of the playoffs for the third time in 4 years, but everything ended with a 31-23 loss to the Detroit Lions. After being selected as the first overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft by the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield was the next in long line of quarterbacks for the Browns. Cleveland started 16 different quarterbacks between 2010 and 2018, but in the 2020 campaign, Mayfield led the Browns to their first winning season in 13 years and their first playoff victory since 1994. At the end, he was eventually replaced in Cleveland and hopped around to two different teams during the 2022 season. Now, Baker Mayfield has found a home with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as their starting quarterback and got an extension during this offseason that is a 3-year deal worth $100 million, and half of that is guaranteed money. In 2023, Mayfield completed 64.3% of his throws for 4,044 yards, 28 touchdowns, a career high, and 10 interceptions. Even when he was in Cleveland for the 4 seasons, he passed for over 3,000 yards every season in the 60 games he started for Cleveland. On top, he also was not bad in the 6 games he played for the Panthers and had over 1,000 yards. I also don't think he was a disappointment when he started for the LA Rams in the 5 games, but you can make an argument there. So the idea that people have that Baker Mayfield is bad is not true. This season, Baker has been ripping it down the field. In 3 weeks, he's completed 74.4% of his passes for 637 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Not so bad of a start. Plus, the Bucs have a very talented offense. They have amazing receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Mike Evans has become one of the most dominant receivers in the NFL. In his rookie season, Evans made an immediate impact, setting a Buccaneers franchise record for receiving yards by a rookie. He also became the first rookie wide receiver in NFL history to record 3 consecutive 100 receiving yard games. He has also surpassed 1,000 receiving yards in the season since coming into the league, which is pretty insane. Chris Godwin hasn't been so bad as well. He was drafted by the Bucs with their 3rd pick in 2017 and hasn't missed much. He was a Penn State guy. In his first 2 seasons, he stayed under 1,000 yards but had 7 touchdowns in his 2nd season. Things picked up in 2019. He had over 1,300 receiving yards with 9 receiving touchdowns. In 2020, the season Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl when Tom Brady was at quarterback, Godwin only played in 12 games but still ended with 840 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. And since then, he hasn't stopped. The last 3 seasons, he's hit 1,000 or more receiving yards, and I'm sure the story will be the same this season, but it's fantastic whenever Mike Evans gets double teamed by the defense. Baker Mayfield has another good receiver to throw to, which is Chris Godwin. Baker Mayfield also has a decent to good number 1 running back in Rachaad White, whom the Bucs selected in the 3rd round of the 2022 NFL Draft. White has yet to achieve a 1,000-yard season on the ground or through the air, but he plays in the Alvin Kamara manner and is used as a receiving back. Last season, he recorded 549 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns while running on the ground for 990 yards and 6 scores. The good news is Tampa Bay has a solid head coach in Todd Bowles and their defense isn't horrible. In fact, that's exactly what Baker Mayfield needed. For a quarterback trying to revive his career, being surrounded by a competitive defense is crucial, and Bowles is a great defensive-minded coach. The Buccaneers opened up the 2024 season with a win in Week 1 at home against the Washington Commanders 37-20. From the start, the team looked sharp, executing flawlessly on both sides of the ball, and Baker Mayfield was shining. The confidence from Week 1 carried into Week 2, where Tampa Bay hit the road and went back to Detroit to take on the Lions. Baker might have not beaten the Lions in the Divisional Round, but he did beat them 20-16 in Week 2. Then in week 3, the Bucks played at home against the Denver Broncos, and things didn't go so well. The Broncos ended up coming on top with a dub 26-7. Baker threw 1 touchdown and 1 interception, but the Broncos defense is solid and their offense played well enough to score 4 field goals and only 2 touchdowns. But from here, the schedule doesn't get easy. In week 3, they take on the Eagles at home. Then right after that, they have 2 away games against divisional rivals the Falcons and the Saints. Then they take on the Ravens at home and then the Falcons again at home. Then they have a Monday night game against the Chiefs in week 9. In week 10, they take on the Niners. Week 9 and week 10 are going to be a big test for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. Week 11, they have their bye week, and then they go on the road after that for 2 games in a row against the New York Giants and then the Carolina Panthers. Then they take on the Las Vegas Raiders at home in week 14. Week 15 and week 16 are another away games against the Los Angeles Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys. Then the last 2 games are at home against 2 divisional rivals, the Carolina Panthers and then the New Orleans Saints. That is not that easy of a schedule, but if Tampa Bay can play out to the teams in the NFC South, and they'll have a chance of playing in the postseason again. But it looks like that Baker Mayfield has saved his career in Tampa Bay.
That's all I know, shawty, I'm getting dough, shawty. We bout to blow, taking over the globe, shawty. That's all I know, shawty, I'm getting dough, shawty. We bout to blow, taking over the globe, shawty. Yeah, bitch, I can't